has a new nickname, and it's Dirty Devon. Hi everybody, this is Lady Sweetheart and welcome back to the Disney Princess Challenge. So we are back in the castle. It's actually the very next morning from the last episode and everyone is getting ready to sit down to breakfast. Now if you look down here in the panel, you will notice that we have some missing even beyond Lady Tremaine, who tragically died last episode. Tragically. You will notice that Drizella and Lucifer are both gone. So very early this morning, Drizella decided she was leaving. She didn't want to live here anymore. Of course, she would take Lucifer with her. And she actually woke Anastasia up. Bruno, do you mind? Oh my goodness. She actually woke Anastasia up and asked if she would like to go with her as well. But Anastasia decided to stay because this has always been her home. As long as she can remember, I mean, they moved here when they were toddlers. Like, as long as she can remember, the castle has been her home. And she, basically just said, I'd rather stay here. Now, the other thing that has happened is Drizella did go to the press and told them all about King Noel's indiscretions. She basically revealed that King Noel had an affair on her mother and that he has all of these children outside of the marriage. So there's a little bit of a scandal now going on with this kingdom. Now, King Noel doesn't seem too concerned about it, but I imagine that knowing King Noel, he's probably a little bit relieved too that this has come out, because I would imagine that keeping that big of a secret for all those years has probably really taken a toll on him, and he's probably actually in a way relieved that it came out, and he doesn't really have to be so sneaky with Nivea anymore. However, the downside of it is drawing scandal upon the kingdom, and definitely upon King Noel himself, who seems to be talking to himself now. But as we talked about last episode, I do want to have Cinda have a talk with Gaul before I send Cinda and Gavin to the cottage, to their mom's cottage. But as we talked about last time, when Prince Louis, Prince James, and Cinda decided they wanted to be in a relationship, she did tell him, I've been seeing this other person, Gaul, and she owes it to him to give him a talk about where things are going. So she has decided to come out here to the gardens with Gaul, their usual spot. Also, in light of recent events, I like that Serena Sleepy is contacting King Noel saying that she noticed his name has been all the buzz lately. I mean, yeah, but not in a good way. Thanks to Drizella. The thing of it is, Cinda does care about Gaul. He was there for her at a time that she really needed someone. When she first moved to the castle, it was a really difficult adjustment for her. So even beyond the nice distraction of romance that he provided, he has been a really good friend to her. So it's definitely important to Cinda that she's straight with him. So she's telling him about how she does want to be committed and exclusive to someone else. And I'm sure she's doing the whole I think a lot of you and I care about you, but unfortunately, I find myself in love with someone else. But you're great. All the things that are probably really hard for poor Gaul to hear. Because I think he really does like Cinda. I get the feeling Gaul is not the type of guy that really gets involved with too many people, but I think with Cinda, he did really care for her. And obviously it's known now, thanks to the press, Gaul would have found out too that, Cinda is technically a princess. But from Gaul's point of view, he's like, I cared about you even before I knew you were a princess. I cared about Cinda, just Cinda. And I think Cinda knows that, but she can't help how she feels. So I'm going to have Cinda ask to just be friends. I don't feel like the breakup, the mean one, is appropriate for these two like it was for Drizella and James. But obviously we do want to do this as part of our tying up loose ends. So it says they've decided to cool off their romantic relationship. So we've got that done. But as I said before, I do want to send Gavin and Cinda to Snow White's cottage so that we can age up all of our dwarfs. Because before we can really do anything else with Cinderella and her part of the challenge, she does have to become a young adult. We've basically done everything we can do with her as a team. So I think the easiest way to do this is just going to be to move them back into the cottage. That way we can just visit with everyone there. All right, so we are now in Granite Falls, including Gavin and Cinda, where it is extremely hot apparently. And I actually have a couple of Sims I want to introduce you to. So first of all, this here, who Devin is talking to, being all cute with, is Doc's new girlfriend, Crystal. And he's not the only one in the cottage that has found love. So over here is Lydia Sutton, who is actually Harper Happy's girlfriend. And yeah, if you notice she's a little pasty, she's a vampire. I actually really loved the idea of Harper, this cheery, like, bright, sunny girl, having a relationship with a vampire. So that's what I decided to do with her. I hope you guys like that idea. You know, just like that whole like opposites attract thing, you know, with the light and the dark. And I thought it would make sense that they would be over here for the kids' birthdays. You know, whether Lydia and Harper will stay together remains to be seen, because opposites attract, but sometimes it makes their relationship more difficult. But I figure, you know, they're teens. It's a teen relationship. Hold up. What? Are you kidding me? Doc? Devin Doc. In his mom's bed. What? What? Of all the kids, would we have thought Devin would be the one to woohoo first? And in his mom's bed. Oh my goodness. As I said, they're pretty crazy in love. But yeah, the plan was we were going to start having the kids, you know, blow the birthday candles out. But, you know, Devin's kind of down there a little, so I suppose we can go down the line. You know, we do want to keep the order the same. All right, let's try this again, Miss Cinda. I'm pretty confident I told her to age up before, but I don't know. It just didn't work. The game was too preoccupied with Devin Doc having his first woohoo, apparently. Why is this not working? Is it because it's a custom content cake? So I guess I'm just going to have to do this through MCCC. We'll do set age, and then we'll make her a young adult. There we go. That way works. It's a little easier than dealing with the cake anyway. Okay, so Cinda, I'm going to look at the rules because I'm not sure if we have like a certain trait we have to give her for her third trait. Y'all, my mind is still reeling from Devin though. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm pulling up the rules now on my phone. It says she has to have the neat and the foodie traits. So we do have to give her the foodie trait because she's already neat and she is already... No, she's not self-absorbed. You know what? I bet I did that for a pose. She's supposed to be lactose intolerant. So I'll change that back when we go into cast to take a look at everybody. Also, you'll see I got a bunch of new custom traits, so that's why there's so many extra. But yeah, she's a foodie. Okay, I don't care about Paula Paddit's child. We could care... Really? Why is this all coming up? Anyway, yeah, we don't care. So the next one is actually Blair, even though it's showing Gavin. I'm not sure why. I know when they were teens, we aged them up at the right time. Cinderella's a note. Oh, you know why? Because off camera, I did give King Noel some fame because I thought he's the king. Like, he should have some fame, right? So that's probably why. Because I thought it didn't make sense to say there's some kind of scandal when he doesn't even have fame. I probably honestly should have done that a long time ago. And Blair really is bashful. She has to go outside to age up. Anyway, Blair is very creative. She's artistic. She's creative and she's a loner. And she's also now a spellcaster. So I kind of like the idea of the sensitive trait. It's a custom trait, but I think it fits Blair. So we're going to give her that. We will age up Harper and Devin's significant others too, so it doesn't end up being creepy. So Harper is cheerful and she's squeamish, but I think I got some kind of I don't know if it was like optimistic, but something that I felt would really fit her. Optimistic, there we go. These Sims believe that good things will happen in the future. I think that's perfect for Harper Happy. Oh, and it even gives custom moods. I didn't even realize that. That's pretty awesome. I really like that mod. Alright, so Gavin Grumpy is brave and he is hot-headed. He has the extreme sports enthusiast aspiration, but I think I'm going to change that because here's what I think that I want to do for Gavin. I think I want Gavin, I feel like from his time that he has spent in the castle, he has discovered a real love for animals. And I think that I want to make Gavin go into being a vet. And especially from his bond with Bruno, I'm going to say he's a dog lover. And so I'm going to change his aspiration actually to the animal lover one. All right, Devin, woohooer, you're next. But yeah, I feel like that's something that Gavin gained from his time in the castle. Not only did he meet Miss Ara, but I think he's discovered that he has this love of animals. So Devin Doc aged up. He is already a computer whiz and a geek, and he has a computer whiz aspiration, but somebody suggested that when he became a young adult that I should give him the, where's it at? Here it is, the genius trait, and I totally agree with that. I actually probably should have given him that as a teen, to be quite honest with you. I'm kind of glad in a way that the cake didn't work because I feel like this is going a lot faster this way. Okay, so Dolly Dopey aged up. She is a joke star, she's a goofball, and she's a slob. So if there's something related to humor, I think I'm going to give her that. Funny, so she's also funny. I think that's perfect for Dolly Dopey. So Serena has the inner peace aspiration. She is a music lover and she's lazy. So anything to do with liking sleep or being relaxed, I think is a good one for her. These are all very new to me, so perfect. Look at that, relax. These Sims are calm and do not worry how others think of them. I think that's perfect for Serena. All the teens have now aged up to a young adult. Man, that was a lot of people to age up. So the guests have left, and it's just the family now having dinner together. And I think Nivea is super happy to have all of her kids here again. I mean, it really is nice to look and see all the kids sitting here. And Devin, I don't know why you're complaining. Like, if anything, you're the one that should be getting told by your mother. I'm going to start calling him Dirty Devin. Boy has a new nickname, and it's Dirty Devin. Anyway, though, it is 7:41 at night. And Gavin is going to head back to the castle because he would like to spend a little bit of his birthday with Ara. Cinda, on the other hand, would have loved to spend time with Prince James. However, he had to go out of town with his family for something royal. He's actually going to be gone for a couple of weeks. But I am going to have her get on and chat with him online. We're going to pretend that they're going to do like a little Skype call since he's not in town. In the meantime, King Noel has arrived, wanting to spend a little time with his kids on their birthday. He would have liked to have gotten here sooner, but because of the scandal going on, unfortunately he couldn't get away until now. But Nivea sure does seem happy to see him. And in fact, one of the reasons that King Noel came was he also has something that he wants to talk about with Nivea. He figures that she probably has found out about the word getting out about him by now, but that isn't the only thing he wants to talk about with her. So King Noel has brought her out here to the very place when they first met, where they first fell in love, and he's telling her that she is the love of his life, and he's so glad that they don't have to keep it secret anymore. And he also wants to know if she'll marry him. You know, he's not worried at all about how soon it is. Whoa, the lighting sure did change. He's not at all worried about how soon it is or how it looks to the press. He and both of them have waited way too long, and they want to finally be together. And it's a good thing Devin Doc isn't in Nivea's bed anymore, because these two have come in to celebrate their new engagement. and their very favorite way to celebrate with each other. So a little bit of time has passed, actually to the point where we are in a different season now. It is actually fall where it was summer before, and Prince James has sat his family down because he has come to a pretty important decision. So by this point, Prince James has only fallen even deeper in love with Cinda, and he's been doing a lot of thinking, and he's decided that he wants to marry Cinda. Now, the issue that this brings about with his family and with the kingdom is, although Cinda is the daughter of a king, there is so much controversy surrounding Noel and his kingdom right now. So from a royal point of view, James's marriage to Cinda would not be good for Prince James' kingdom. So he's been doing a lot of thinking, and not only is he concerned about how his choice for a life partner would affect his kingdom, he's never really been about the royal life anyway, which we kind of talked about a little bit when he and Cinda had some time bonding. But he's been doing a lot of thinking, and instead of possibly bringing disgrace on his kingdom, he has decided to abdicate the throne. I think I may have mentioned it before, but his younger brother, Prince Simon, has always been really about the royal life and has always longed to be the crown prince. So James, in doing a lot of thinking, has thought, I just think this would be the best decision all the way around for the kingdom, for me personally, for my younger brother Simon. It just makes the most sense. So James is making the decision that he is going to abdicate the throne in order to marry the woman he loves, which I think makes his younger brother Simon very happy, because he had always dreamed of being king, and he always envied that his older brother got to be the crown prince and potentially the king someday. I think it's really interesting, in a lot of ways, this situation that Prince James is in is very parallel to what we saw from King Noel back when he was prince. He had to make that tough decision of, do I marry based on what's best for my kingdom, or do I marry the woman that I love? And I think it's interesting that we're seeing that same situation, but Prince James is making a different choice. And of course, in this situation, it's a little bit different because Prince James does have a younger brother who can take over, and Noel didn't really have that option. Were that not the case, I do think Noel would have made the same type of decision as James is. And in spite of the controversy surrounding Noel and his family, Queen Felicia actually had a very good impression of Cinda when she met her. If you'll recall, Noel even said something like, Queen Felicia really liked you. And little known fact is, the monarchy was actually inherited by King Philip. So Felicia actually married into that, and Felicia herself did not come from a royal background. And so that could be part of the reason that she is more accepting of Cinda. Although, of course, now we know Cinda really isn't some servant girl. She is actually a royal. So now that Prince James has gotten the approval of his family, and he has done the courtesy of letting them know what he wants to do, he is going to ask Cinda out on a date. Because we know he has something very important to discuss with her. So Prince James is actually going to take Cinda to this really nice restaurant in Sulani. It has a very romantic atmosphere overlooking the ocean. So that is where he's taking her on their date. Plus, we know they both love food. So I think they would both be the types who would enjoy going out and trying new restaurants and having that experience. So between the good food and this beautiful view, I feel like this is the perfect place for Prince James to bring Cinda to talk to her about what he wants to talk to her about. So once they order their food, Prince James gets to the business of the purpose of bringing Cinda here. As we talked about, over time, James has gotten to absolutely be 100% sure that Cinda is the woman for him. They're young, But it doesn't matter. He's certain that this is the woman he wants to be with forever, and he's hoping that Cinda feels the same way. So he's kind of summarizing what he had been struggling with, what he decided, you know, letting her know he's already passed this through his family, which kind of seems like a crazy thing probably to most of us, but I think when you're a royal, those are things that are really important to consider, and I think Cinda's been around that long enough to know how big of a deal that is. Also, seriously, how beautiful is this? This is one of my favorite restaurants that I've gotten off of the gallery. The actual restaurant, like we're seeing here, is on the very top level. It's on like the 4th story. And I love placing it in Sulani near the ocean because you just get this gorgeous view of the ocean. I don't know if the person who made the restaurant intended for it to be in Sulani, but I think it's perfect in Sulani, and that's where I like to place it. So if you've watched any of my other LPs, you've probably seen this restaurant before because it's one of my very favorites, especially for things that are maybe a little more romantic. So James can't wait any longer. They haven't even had their meal yet, but he doesn't want to wait a minute longer to spend the rest of his life with Cinda. So here in the restaurant, before they even get their food, he is asking Cinda if she will marry him. And of course, she said yes. We knew she would. So there you have it, guys. We got not one, but 2 proposals in this episode. And hey, it looks like it was perfect timing. So I was thinking about, since the next episode is a very special one, you know, it's going to be the big wedding of not only Cinda and James, but also Nivea and Noel. I was thinking about doing something I've never done before, which is a premiere. So let me know in the comments if you would be interested in doing that. You know, I kind of want to gauge the interest. I don't really want to do one if nobody would want to come to the premiere or show up. And also let me know like what time zone you're in and what times are good for you based on your time. And I can kind of, you know, make the estimations and calculations of what my time is versus your time. Don't worry about any of that. Just let me know like what times in your time zone you would be available, if you do want to do one. But anyway, I am going to go ahead and end the episode here. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the episode. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. It really does help my channel out, and it also lets me know the kind of videos you enjoy. Don't forget to drop a comment below. I always love hearing what you have to say. It honestly makes my day. And let me know if you're excited for this wedding. Let me know if you're as excited as I am, because I'm super excited. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.